Hello, it's really good to be with you again. In America, there's a folk story based on a character called Rip Van Winkle. He falls asleep, and when he wakes up, thinking he's just slept for a night, he finds he's been asleep for years and the world has moved and changed on. It's possible that you're experiencing something of that because just a few moments ago you've heard a reading from Luke 2, chapter 1 to 7, and you're listening to this in October. It's not Christmas, and if the weather's anything like it is today, of September afternoon, it's very hot and very pleasant, and here I am in shirt sleeves. Why on earth are we reading the story of the Holy Family travelling to Bethlehem? A couple of weeks ago, when the church started opening for worship, we aligned the theme of the Sunday worship in church with that which goes out by email or hard copy to a whole number of folk within and beyond the local church. And we took as a theme home. But this is the first time the YouTube service has been in alignment, as it were. So this is the fourth in a group of reflections about home. And if you can go on the website, you'll find that there are copies of the previous three if you'd like to have a look at them. But back to the story. Mary and Joseph travel to Bethlehem. And strangely, it being a sunny afternoon is really quite appropriate, because a government doesn't call a census in midwinter. They would call it in better weather, particularly if people have got to travel. And so, in a sense, there's a coming together, a fresh way of looking. But beyond that, where did Joseph call home? Had he been born and grew up in Nazareth, or had he relatively recently only moved there for work? How did he feel about travelling back to Bethlehem? Was he going to dig up his family tree? Was he going to visit aunts and cousins that he'd never met? Or was he looking forward to being with a family he knew? Where do you call home? Is home the place that you've spent lockdown? Or has that lockdown stirred deeper roots and you've thought, I remember when I lived here or there, and I would have been able to do this, and I would have been able to do that. We have a longing, a yearning for home. In recent months, our lives have been shaped by government rules and laws and regulations. Go out for a coffee and they'll take your name and they'll count how many people you're sitting and drinking with. They're bringing in track and trace that the government has a handle for perfectly legitimate reasons of knowing where people are. But people chunter about it. Did Joseph say, why have we got to go all that way for a count and to get things done? How would he have reacted to being measured? How have we reacted to all those laws? My great-great-grandfather, Joseph Moisey, was born in 1837. We have a friend who's a very keen family historian, delights in doing nothing more than whiling away an afternoon, much to his wife's annoyance, on the computer tracing his or her family tree. As a gift in lockdown, he gave me 3 hours of his time. I want to see if I can just take the list you've got in an old family Bible back a bit. He rang up, full of delight, saying he'd made the most interesting discovery he'd ever had in tracing anyone's family tree. He had discovered that my great-great-grandfather, Joseph Moisey, was raised at the Foundling Hospital in London. That had been founded in 1739 for children, babies, who were in danger, who were at risk of being abandoned or of great sickness. And people lived in the Foundling Hospital until they were 14 or 15. Because of the 1851 census, the track and trace of its time, my friend made a discovery and I know more about my roots. I know that Joseph, interesting echo of names, was vulnerable and yet was held and was secure. He had a home, and he launched from that. He became a baker, his son became a baker, and his son, my grandfather, was a baker in Dover. A skill, a home, and protection. Just as the church, not just the building, perhaps not particularly the building in some ways, gives us a home, we are held and loved by God. What aspect of your family roots gives you a sense of home, of belonging, of purpose, of a shape? And how much do you celebrate that because of the gift it gives you? It's really good to be with you. Take care. God bless. Amen.